in Carn House and in 7K2 moved into 8K2. Before I came to Knole Academy, I used to go to East English Primary School. I quite liked it there, but not as much as I enjoyed secondary school. For me, the start of year 7 was fun because not knowing where you was going, made it more like an adventure. There is a map in the planner to help you when you do get lost at the start of year 7. School is now super fun for the reason that I have loads of friends and all the worries I had before I started school had disappeared. One thing that helped me do finish secondary school was the week-long summer school. This included 2 days and 1 night of bushcraft. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed most of my lessons. I didn't think you'd believe me if I said that I liked absolutely all of them. My favourites are English, wood technology, food, music and computer science and science. There are loads of clubs that you can go to, like for music there's orchestra, ukulele and loads more. For year 7 there's a lunch club that a teacher in is also open in the morning as well as break. Chess club is also on at E3 every Monday and Friday. There's an extensive club list that covers many different interests. I'm really looking forward to year 8 and the challenges it will bring. I hope your children have a great start to their Knole Academy lives. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this afternoon, and the biggest thank is for basically entrusting us with the education of your sons and daughters for hopefully the next 7 years. Please be assured that we do not take that responsibility lightly, and we know what an important decision this has been for you. I have the disadvantage that I follow one of my students who always blow us away with speaking, and everyone who follows me has the advantage of following someone who's fairly inadequate at doing public speaking. And at this point, normally all the babies in the audience start crying, which gives nice respite so you don't need to listen to what we have to say. But the key thing really for me is what we are trying to achieve with your sons and daughters while they're at Knole. And for me, that is all about them fulfilling their potential. And if I could just talk to you very briefly about this week for a year 7 student at Knole Academy, hopefully they've attended a number of really high quality lessons, and my basic core function is to make sure that your sons and daughters have really high quality teachers in front of them, because I think that's what makes a difference in terms of their enjoyment of school, and an awful lot of the other issues don't ever really materialise because they're engaged in their learning, they're enjoying themselves, and they feel confident when they come into school. So that's the core function for me, and hopefully those year 7s had that this week. But they also had Sports Day on Tuesday, which I think most of them will say was an unbelievable experience, with lots of parents in supporting their activities in the afternoon. At the same time, we had a whole load of year 7s at Seven Oaks School doing an intergalactic challenge with people who had come over from NASA. And last night I had the enjoyment of watching the summer concert where students, one of whom is sat to my left-hand side, performed. Now, to me, if students hadn't participated in the intergalactic challenge, hadn't participated in the summer concert, hadn't participated in Sports Day, they would have still had a good time at Knole Academy. But if your sons and daughters immerse themselves in all of those opportunities, they will get a huge amount out of it. And we recognise that the last couple of years has been very, very difficult, and we also recognise that an awful lot of students are arriving with increased anxiety. We need your help to encourage them. The more we return to a level of normality, the more we return to a position where they get all of those experiences, they will achieve far better in school. But more importantly, and what our key aim is it will leave this school as just better individuals. And ultimately, I think you as parents will be prouder of them if they come out of this school as a better individual, rather than just the semantics of whether they get a 5 or a 6 or a 7. But please, I'm still interested in the semantics of whether they get 5, 6, 7, and we will still talk about them getting 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. But, as I say, that's not the core focus at all times. One thing I would say is that our staff here are amazingly supportive. They would do everything to ensure that the students here are as happy as they possibly can and achieve it. For me, that doesn't extend to going to bushcrafts in the summer. I went briefly, I spent 15 minutes, I saw there was no on-street toilet facilities, and I left. But I would encourage all of your sons and daughters to take up that opportunity, because it does make that transition into school so much better. The one thing I would like to say, and it's an apology, but it's one I would just like to stress at this point in time. The way this school is organised is very different to a lot of the primary schools that you will be at. Your first port of call will very rarely be me as a head teacher. It will be form tutors. It will be Mrs McGawley in Year 7, who is an amazing head of year, who is extremely experienced in dealing with all of the transition issues. If need be, it will be a subject leader who, if there's a subject issue, then it will be Mr Major. If it's safeguarding or extends, it will be Mrs Barnes. Now, you may think I'm standing here on an ivory tower. The reason is they are all better at doing their jobs in those particular areas than I am. If you ring me and if you say you must speak to the head teacher, the first thing I'm going to do is speak to one of those people about what that incident is. So it actually slows down the process. So I apologise that that might be different to what you're used to. The reason I say it is because it's the quickest and most efficient way to make sure that your son and daughter is supported. And I'm probably going to steal a line from everyone else's speech to you, but our aims are exactly the same as yours. We want your son and daughter to do well here, and that's what we are always trying to achieve. With that, I will hand on to Ms Barnes.
Thank you. Everything he just said then is true. I had to tolerate the lack of ensuite facilities for 4 days and 2 nights, and I will be doing the same this summer. And he's not even going to pop in this year. Anyway, good afternoon and welcome to Knole Academy. So, I'm Sarah Barnes, and my job title is Senior Deputy Head Teacher, Character and Culture. I challenge anyone to remember that job title. But generally, for us, for all of us, one of the Knole aims is about building character. As Mr Collins just said, it's about resilience, it's about taking part, it's about becoming knowledgeable, it's about fulfilling potential. And they are the most important things to us here at Knole. And one of my jobs is to make sure that that happens. So we do that in various ways. Firstly, and hopefully one of the reasons you chose for Knole Academy for your child, is because we have a culture of high standards. And that's high standards in everything. And that does include uniform, it includes conduct around the corridors, it includes their respect in lessons. And we will extend that to you too. We expect you to abide by those things, and we expect to abide by those things, and we'd be falling short if we weren't. One of the things we're really working on at the moment is about just general kindness, and again, across the whole school community. If we can't be kind to one another, well, there's an issue, isn't there? And we expect that of our children here at Knole. So we need you to support us to maintain those standards yourselves as well. Communicate with us when you have concerns. And as Mr Collins said, the first and most important person in your child's life is in their form tutor. And that goes throughout the whole school. And sometimes the rest of us will get involved. But they are your first port of call for communication. So if in doubt, it's that form tutor. Okay? They are the right person to be dealing with everything. This is really important. Mr Major's going to laugh at me because I'm a little bit obsessed. This is a student planner. It helps them keep organised. It helps us communicate with you. It helps them record their house points. House points are no good if they're not stuck in here. You can use it as a diary. Would help the students to organise themselves. It's a reference guide for you. If you're like, oh, I can't remember if I can wear boots, it's in here, okay? And it fits almost perfectly in their inside blazer pocket, although lots of them have now made holes from putting it in, as those of you with children here already will know. So yeah, we really want you to be looking at that and using that and making sure they've got it every day. Next year, we've slightly extended morning form time so that we can regularly check, have they got their planner, have they got their equipment, etc. So you can help us by doing that with your children too. The tutor, as I said, is so important. They see them every day. For me, as one of my roles is safeguarding lead, by the way, for me, that knowledge of that child is so very, very important. It's one of the most important things. The tutor will hopefully follow your child for 3 years now. We've actually changed the structure to make that connection even more important. And as safeguarding lead, I know that that form tutor will see your child every day. potentially for 3 years, and they will notice concerns, problems, changes. And that's a really important structural change for us this year. So, yes, that's what we're looking for, and I want you to know that's what we do. We do look out for them. We're checking for those things and for those changes. Because, I'm sorry, some of you have been here before and heard me speak before, but I always do a little bit of a talk about the teenage brain. Not much, I won't bore you with the science. What I will say, it's weird. The teenage brain, I'm sure some of you are already knowing this, is a very strange but wonderful thing. It is so fundamental to how your children are going to change over their time here. It's so fundamental to some of their behaviour. And they will start lying. They will say, Mr. Major said A, B or C, and then tell you he said D, E and F. And that's why we have to communicate, why we have to trust each other. I just want to say that word again, trust. Please trust us. We genuinely have your child's best interests at heart. We don't lie to you. We don't give you false ideas about your child. Honestly, we are truthful, if nothing else, and we want you to trust us with that. And sometimes, your child might not be so trustworthy. Only sometimes, but it's because of their brain doing weird things and growing and changing. So, I thank you all for coming, and I just want to reiterate those things. Please trust us, please communicate with us, and please tell us and use that form tutor if there's something going on that we need to know about. Thank you. I'm going to hand over now to Mr. Major.
Afternoon everyone, my name is Jeremy Major. I'm one of the deputy head teachers here at Knole. First of all, congratulations on gaining the place for your son and daughter at Knole. I'm confident that they and you will have a fantastic 7-year experience. It always amazes me, well, not so much now, that the transition is almost needed for parents more than it's for students, looking at how the kids come through the door, ready to see you later mum, and mums and dads are trying to hold on to them for a kiss. I said to them at the end of lunchtime today, if their perceived score out of 10 was a 4 or a 5 before they started the day, if it's just 0.5 or 1 or 2 or double the score by the end of the day, we've done our job. Because if we've got comfortable, happy young people, then they're going to make progress, they're going to learn. And if I asked you just to take a second to have a think about what your dreams and aspirations are for your child, I'm sure, as Mr. Collins alluded to, it's not a list of numerical values for GCSE results. It's about having a good young person, a respected person, someone that's empathetic, someone that's caring, someone that's kind, but also has those GCSE results to support it. Someone that is well-mannered, someone that experiences different things. And the students that do best at this academy are the ones that jump in the deep end, the ones that try things, experience things, are helpful, kind and considerate. I just want to talk to you briefly about our transition, because as you'll well know, there's a huge gap between Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3. And you either get it between primary and secondary school, or you get it between preschool and primary school, depending on how big that primary school is. And we started finding out huge amounts of information, most of it good, about your sons and daughters from their Year 6 teachers and other relevant members of staff. We carefully put them into form groups to ensure that they're with people from the same primary school. And if you are one of the 20-25 parents of students that are what we call singletons, people that have come from a primary school on their own, we ensure that they're in form groups with people of a similar nature. Because it's essential that they start to develop those friendships and, as I said earlier, feel comfortable in this new environment. As I've seen them throughout the day, the rabbits in headlights, the eyes have closed slightly, the smiles have increased, and everybody that I've checked on seems to have a fantastic day. And from that transition point, we have today, where they'll have had a tour, they'll have met their tutor, they'll have had a sample secondary school lesson, they'll have sat exactly where you are now and had an assembly, and those will carry on for 7 years. Summer school, hopefully they'll all be able to attend in August, which is a week-long programme where they'll spend 3 days on the school site doing similar things, and then they'll spend an overnight and 2 days at bushcraft. They'll involve themselves in house competition, different talent-based competitions, and other sample lessons. During that time, we will also do some testing in English and maths to ensure that we put them in the right academic set when they start with us in September. The transition doesn't stop there, because as you know, not everyone makes progress and grows at the same rate at the same times. So we're constantly evaluating that and making changes, both pastorally and academically. I do hope you'll go away today seeing that there are 2 students in Year 7 here that have been with us for 8 or 9 months, and to have the ability to stand up in front of 280 people and speak so eloquently, significantly better than the 3 senior members of staff here, could be your sons and daughters this time next year. So congratulations on gaining a place here, and thank you for listening. I'm going to hand over to Stacey.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacey Ubi, and today I'm going to tell you all about Knole Academy and my fantastic experience during Year 7. Before I came to Knole Academy, I used to go to Crofton Junior School, a primary school in Northampton. I was worried and quite anxious about joining this new second year in the beginning. However, I was welcomed by the kind and supportive staff at Knole, which made me forget my worries. One of the things that helped me get used to Knole a little bit more was the enjoyable week of summer school during August. During this week, we got to try out lots of entertaining things, such as house competitions against other houses. Summer school really helped me get to know the school and the people in it. I'm really looking forward to being a part of 8L1 next year. There are a huge number of clubs for your child to enjoy during their time at home. For example, there's chess club, ukulele club, chamber choir, candle club, and orchestra. And these are just the ones I tried this year. I'm also lucky enough to have piano lessons at school every Thursday. I have a large group of friends that I spend my free time with. These are new friends that I have made since starting here. I enjoy my lessons, especially science, because of the fun experiments and learning about different topics, specifically physics and biology. I also like English and French. I couldn't have wished for a better start in Year 7, and I'm confident that your sons and daughters can be as happy as I am here. Thank you for listening.